There's an opportunity for retail media networks to work with a sell-side player like an exchange, like us, to activate their data at scale in ways that are very controllable for the retail media network, but give them vast amount of access to quality publishers to do partnerships with, while still be able to work with any DSP that they want to. So we call this sell-side enabled retail, and basically there's three different products that we have. We have one that lets the retail media network activate their data and work with publishers to create tailored media solutions. We have another that lets retail media networks share their data to be used in sort of a data marketplace, but in a way that gives them a great deal of control to figure out who's using those segments and where they're using them. And then finally, the third one is that we have a measurement solution where the retail media network can work with us to share conversions and data about the folks that are being exposed to the retail media ads, so that offline measurement of commerce activity can be joined with the ad exposure, and that's really allows this sort of end-to-end measurement of people that are seeing ads and how they're working for the brand that's buying them.
So driving that connection from being seen to actually the purchase.
Yep.
One of the other areas of interest is shoppable ads. Shoppable ads are growing across multiple channels, including CTV. Do you have any thoughts on how to make shoppable creative on CTV more effective while maintaining consistency with other ad formats?
Yeah, so we think shoppable is obviously like a really exciting category of creative and creative execution. So we see ourselves as more of a facilitator in this space. So helping people bring their creative format, whether it's publishers that are setting that up or the brand that might want to have their own creative format. Maybe it's a partner that has something. And we really want to facilitate that as much as we can in a way that is consistent and scaled. But we're not necessarily innovating with our own shoppable ads, more so trying to make other people's work at scale, which is kind of what the exchange tries to do in a lot of cases, which is just how do we make this thing that is very custom, like efficient and scaled and ubiquitous, available where folks want it to be.
One of the other things I think the exchanges have to do is be this area of security.
Yep.
And so with increasing scrutiny on privacy and data security, how can retail media networks ensure privacy compliance across CTV and other channels? Does the exchange have anything to do with that?
Yeah, so this is a great question. I mean, at its core, privacy around the data, the retailer's data, is their most prized asset, right? And so we have to find ways to keep that very private for the retail media network, but also let it be leveraged so that it can create value and it can be deployed. So the solutions that we talked about a little bit earlier are all based on very, very secure technologies. We have partnership with folks like LiveRamp that, certainly data can be activated using things like ramp IDs, but also data can be brought into clean rooms so that it can be joined with other data in a very safe way. So yeah, the technologies are basically at scale and very flexible, but everything is powered off of the most stringent encrypted technologies and thoughtful clean room implementations that exist. And we're working with a number of different partners on this, but we think really we've figured out the method that gives the retailer a lot of control over where and how their segments are utilized and lets them pull back data if they want to. And they can also decide who and when and how they share data through these clean rooms, through this data sharing, to make it available to partners when they want it to be, but also control it and revoke it if they need to for other situations.
Last but not least, we talked a lot about RMNs and the connection between CTV. How do you see CTV's role expanding within RMNs in the future?
Yeah, so it's really exciting in terms of retail and commerce in general is fascinating for connected TV and streaming and live, because usually those environments are more addressable. We know the user in streaming, who that is, and so we can connect the data with these retail media networks to close that loop for the marketer. that has advantages over things like traditional linear TV, where we're sort of guessing and trying to make estimations. We can literally do, here were the users that were shown an ad, and did they end up converting and buying something in real life or online. So in streaming TV, we think that this has the potential to unlock even higher CPMs for publishers and be a great thing for publishers, but also return better advertising spend for the marketer. So we see a world where the retail media network could operate their own retail media business. They could also share their segments and some of their data with the publishers if they want to. So a major broadcaster could be using retail media data to sell programmatic deals or other things, programmatic guaranteed deals. Or the retailers may just want to operate as a measurement provider. So they don't necessarily need to be involved in the transaction at all, but we can feed into a clean room these data sets about who may have seen an ad, and they can tell us, hey, this drove, this $100,000 in media spend ended up driving, 2.4 million in in-store sales. Like, that's really the vision that we're trying to make come alive.
Last question. So how is Index Exchange innovating to support kind of that convergence of CTV and retail with other sort of retail-focused channels?
So all the things that we talked about don't just apply to streaming, but it's really sort of omni-channel and omni-format. So these things are going to work across mobile app, they're going to work on web, they're going to work for native versus for video. And we're really excited about that because we think that the marketers are going to like that. It's one methodology to work across all channels, all formats. And again, with this sort of sell-side enabled retail media strategy, these tools and these processes can work across all DSPs. Still requires working with a DSP. That's a key thing. They're a close partner of ours, but we think that the sell-side enabled retail media data can offer greater scale, but also better outcomes for everybody in concert with the DSPs.